Hello. Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, and I'm real glad that you could join us for another segment. This morning, we're going to have a conversation with Judy Gaman. She's an award-winning author, public speaker, and CEO of Executive Medicine of Texas. And she's joining us on the program to talk about her upcoming book, Love, Life, and Lucille, Lessons from a Centenarian. Welcome to the program, Judy Gaman. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm so honored to be on the program with you. It's a fabulous program, and it's, information like this that you put out there that keeps your listeners going, and I'm so happy to be part of it.
Well, we're really happy that you took the time this morning, and give our listeners a brief background about yourself. And of course, you are an author, a public speaker, and the CEO of Executive Medicine of Texas. Give us a bit of background.
Yeah, so my background, as you mentioned, is all of those things. But as the CEO of Executive Medicine of Texas, where people come from all over the globe to get healthier and to get younger and feel better and get their hormones in check and all of those things, I had the distinct pleasure of working on a lot of books with the physicians that I work with there. And in one of the books, which was Age to Perfection, How to Thrive to 100, Happy, Healthy, and Wise, I went out and interviewed many people that were centenarians, which means they were over 100 years old. And one of those people, Lucille Fleming, and I hit it off like you've never seen. We became attached at the hip, and for, believe it or not, almost 4 years, we were together first every week and then in the end every day.
You know, when you think of someone who is that old, you think of the history, the things that they've seen. How often are people that old able to, communicate and interact in such a way as you're describing?
Well, that's such a great question. I have to tell you, when I was working on that book and I asked my writing assistant, go find me people over 100 I want to interview, and I'm like, they have to be able to communicate. I really thought that they were all going to be drooling and, I'd be asking them questions and they wouldn't know what I was saying, and that was not the case. I found very vibrant, alive people that you'd never know they were 100 years old. For example, Lucille, she was doing duplicate bridge. Getting on her calendar in the beginning was really hard. She had things to do. In her retirement community, she was on the residence council, so she still was doing leadership things, and she was just really active. And that's probably, I would say, 99% of why these people were still alive and doing well is because they were still active. They were doing all these things that put them around other people, that were using their mind, they were using their bodies, and that really is kind of what kept them going, and it made writing the Age to Perfection book really easy, right? Because it started out, it was all about what's the research say and what this study says and what should we be doing. And all of a sudden I was like, what am I doing? Why don't I just go ask people that have been around forever? And to your point, yeah, they've seen a lot of stuff. Lucille was born the year the Titanic sank. And whenever I get upset about something that was going on in the world, or I think, what's happening? And whether it was political or it was what have you, she'd say, this has happened before. Don't stress out about it. And it was comforting to know that here's someone who lived through the Depression. They lived through all of these things, and they're like, yeah, it happened before. And it became kind of like, let's just roll with it, and everything's going to be okay.
When you're saying, let's just roll with it, you're talking about being healthy and active and using their minds, all of their lives, like most of us are doing on a daily basis. How are they dealing with the normal stresses and anxieties of everyday life as they move through 100 years of living?
Well, one thing I found about Lucille, and I talk about this in the book, Love, Life, and Lucille, and that was that she expected to wake up alive the next day. A lot of us would get up and we go, good Lord, it's morning. But we should jump out of bed and say, good morning, Lord. And what are you going to have me do today? And be excited to be alive. And what she did is she laid out her clothes the night before. She would buy green bananas because she fully expected that she was going to be alive to eat them when they turn yellow. We have to have that expectation that we're going to be here and we're still going to be active. We still have a contribution to make to society. And when we do that, something happens on the inside. Something physiological happens to our bodies, and we are healthier because we're almost willing ourselves to be healthier.
How do we get ourselves to take advantage of this history, this knowledge that our centenarians have?
Well, that's a great question. I always say, let's not bury the treasure, right? Inside of each of these older people, now whether they're 100 or they're 80 or they're 90, whatever, they're older people. This could be your grandparents. This could be your great aunts and uncles. This could be somebody who's just sitting in a retirement community who doesn't, or a nursing home who doesn't have anybody to talk to. Inside of them, they have a whole world of experience, a whole lifetime. I mean, they have the master's degree of life sitting inside of them. Just take the time to ask the questions. Don't ask how the weather is. Ask the difficult questions. Lucille and I had incredible questions, and for each other, she asked me questions, I asked her questions, and we became so attached because we understood one thing, and that is no matter what decade you grow up in, and even what country, the human experience is the same. We all had that first kiss. We all have tasted failure. We all have tasted success. We've lost a pet. We've been heartbroken. All of these things happen as part of the human experience. And sometimes when you're in that and you're thinking, gosh, I lost my job, or I'm getting a divorce, or something terrible happens, if you remember, I'm not the first one this has happened to. I'm not going to be the last one this has happened to. I can pick myself up and I can move on because this is just part of the human experience. This is about us getting it right, about us getting better, getting stronger, getting more beautiful on the inside. Like a diamond. A diamond starts out as coal. It's the pressure on that coal that makes it so brilliant and so valuable.
So it sounds a lot like not dwelling on your age at all and just being extremely optimistic throughout your life to kind of counteract some of these killers of life.
Well, you really hit it right there, because what I have found as the CEO of Executive Medicine with our patients, and definitely with Lucille, is that attitude is everything. Now, there's been lots of research on this. All the Ivy Leagues have done studies on this, and they have really shown that if you say, I'm old, I'm fat, I'm ugly, all these things, you will become that. But if you wake up and say, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm going to accomplish this thing, if you actually say it, if you actually believe it, then you will have a much better chance of living longer. You will have a much better chance of beating cancer, heart disease, you name it. There's just so much research to back it up, and I witnessed it firsthand with Lucille.
Where can our listeners get a copy of any of your publications and your upcoming book, Love, Life, and Lucille, Lessons from a Centenarian, and also a website where we can get more information about Executive Medicine of Texas?
Yeah, so let me start there. Executive Medicine of Texas is emtexas.com, emtexas.com. Love, Life, and Lucille will go on sale on Amazon April the 14th. And then judygaman.com, that's JUDYGAMAN, is a great place to find more information on me and my speaking and all of the things, other books I've written and such.
Judy Gaman, thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio this morning. Been a pleasure.
Pleasure was all mine.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Judy Gaman, award-winning author, public speaker, and CEO of Executive Medicine of Texas. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/healthprofessionalradio.